Hello everyone, hope you're having a good day. Welcome back to the channel for, I guess, something old and something new. If you are sitting comfortably, then I'll begin. This is Purple, and he has been on quite a journey, I think it's fair to say, since being rescued from a bank character. Maybe, is it more than a year ago now? I think it probably is, looking at the dates of the first recordings. And the reason I say something old and new, I've kept hinting during plenty of the other playthroughs that his nominal build is the Warlock tank. And we're finally back in this now via a really circuitous route, which has included reaching Heroic Completionist, which was awesome, and taught me plenty of lessons along the way. Plenty of fun was had too. So yeah, been doing a few iconic past lives with him to help the build a little. Along the lines of what you saw with the inquisitive life that we documented here, just to get some of the nicer, more desirable things. For those of you who didn't know, some of the iconics carry some fairly decent passive bonuses for any character really, but particularly for tanky types. 3 Deep Gnome gets you 9 MRR, 3 Purple Dragon Knight gets you 9 PRR, so that's not to be sniffed at. And in addition to those, we've also got, I think we all know about the Purple Dragon Sprint Boost, which we now have maxed out on Purple, which is nice. As he has Purple in his name, he should have that Sprint Boost. But also the Deep Gnome iconic toggle is going to be fairly useful to us, at least for the early leveling. +1 illusion DC, so +3 in total. And that's going to make it easier for us to land our first crowd control spell that we're using, the colour spray. If you didn't know, the Warlock has access to colour spray from level 1. For sure we won't be using this at the cap, because this tank build is a constitution build, not a charisma build, so our DCs will be very poor. But for early leveling, I think it'll be okay. As I've hinted at the stats, maybe we could have a look how we started. We are level 3, as you can see. I'm going to continue with the just showing snapshots of the build, every 5 levels or so, just so you can see how it's progressing, and I can mention any notable things along the way. So maxed charisma and constitution, they were 18 each, and intelligence was 10. I think you start with a penalty on intelligence. You'll notice he's a shifter again, so if I doubt very much anybody did see it who's still around now, but if you did, if you did see the Purple in Peril, I did a level by level guide to the Warlock, and that was my first experiment with the tanky Warlock type. So we did a journey all the way to the cap, 1 level at a time. So if you want to see how it progresses and my take on all that, you're welcome to go and have a look at that. That was an acid packed Warlock. Now the packed choice is quite important and could depend quite a bit on what you actually want to do with it. If you're just going 1 to 20, I would strongly suggest choosing a pact that is not commonly resisted amongst the enemies that you're likely to encounter. So that would mean acid, electric or sonic. I strongly suggest one of those 3 for a 1 to 20. For at the cap, I guess it depends on what you're wanting to do. Now this is a first for me, in that I've chosen the pact based on the constraints of the gear set that I have cobbled together for him to use at the cap. I've Well, I won't dwell on it just now, but I will mention that the sort of cornerstone of that was the winter ring, the Ring of Winter's Chill, which is cold and force, spell power and crit, and that's what has pushed me into using the cold pact here. So for leveling it won't be the best. We've already run into a bit of trouble with Undead in the Borderlands. He's been through the Borderlands. Not as bad as I thought. Zombies were fine. It's anything sort of skeleton or skeleton derivative where our cold pack does nothing. So then we're having to rely on the force, which is less than ideal. Also, like frost mephits, there's the odd frost mephit in there. So again, no damage from the cold pact. But we do have the other half of the pact, which is force, which is not you can't save against it. So we were able to chip away slowly. I discuss all this in the Purple in Peril series, if you want to go and have a look. But broadly speaking, the Warlock Blast is broken into two halves. The base damage, which is either light or force, depending on how you set your Warlock up. We're having force. That can't be saved against it. The enemies just take the damage unless they are immune to or healed by force, like the helmed horrors are. The pact side of things, depending on which pact you chose, and be careful because some of them have alignment constraints. Ours doesn't. We were able to choose whatever we wanted, but some of them do have, can't be good, can't be chaotic, can't be lawful, whatever it happens to be. So just be a bit careful with that before you make your choice. So yes, the pact, you've got a very nice breakdown in the wiki as to what additional spells and spell-like abilities will be added by the pack choice, and also what enemy save your pact will go against. In our case, it's quite a good one actually. It's a will save. So in worst case, we're going to do half damage. So in other words, when we get to the cap, even against things with high reflex saves, it doesn't matter because our pact is going on a will save. So our cold side of things will always be doing half damage, unless, and this is the other thing you need to consider, unless things are immune to the cold, because we have no way on this build to make things vulnerable to our damage, unlike our druid fools. If you've seen that series, this is going to be the opposite to it, I guess. We were a wild hunt shifter, weren't we? The sort of spellcaster shifter with fools, and purple is going to be the beast shifter, the constitution one. So where fools got bonuses to wisdom and dex, I think, for the rage, this one's going to have con bonuses for raging. Now, important to note that we can't use the shifter rage in heroic because we have no way then to cast while raged. The only way we have to be able to cast normally while raged is I think it's tier 2 in draconic that gives you that that ability. So in heroic, we're just going to leave the racial tree alone with a couple of points in. Well, I've just put a couple in con while shifting, but we're not going to use the rage at all. So we're just leaving that as is. I'm planning to invest maybe as many as 20 points in here. So it's going to be a big reorganization when we get to epic. Otherwise, for things like now, unlike some casters I've played, the Warlock gets up and running very quickly. If you go into the Tainted Scholar tree and go up, you can take the extra pack dice, always nice. and as soon as you can grab it, so at 5 points spent, you can put the next 2 into chain shape. I definitely recommend you take that, because that's getting you your first AoE. Instead of hitting 1, you're hitting 3. And while, yes, there's a -1 pack die penalty, hitting 3 is still a net huge gain to damage done overall. So that's the kind of broad strategy. Get the little colour spray on to blind them, to lessen the incoming damage, and hammer away with this. A notable comment about this little version of colour spray, unlike the greater colour spray where the enemies stay stunned when taking damage, this one, as soon as you hit them, if they are dazed, as it's called, they break out of it and they start moving again. But the blindness and or silence persists, so especially if it's a caster, really useful to hit them with that, because you're almost completely neutralizing them. I think that's about it for the enhancements. Let's have a quick look at the skills. Do you know, I'm an idiot. I was supposed to be going into the box quest here behind us and doing all this waffling while in said quest, as we normally do. It'd help if I talked to the person, wouldn't it? Okay, so we'll sit here and wait for the time to chug out. Right, where was I? Yeah, skills. So, the 2 main ones, I haven't put too much in Intimidate to start with, because we're not really going to be using it until we get to the cap. I think we're going to be leveling, broadly speaking, alone. So I've boosted up Jump to start with. I think we're going to want about 10 points in there to reach around 40 with adjustments when we get to the cap. 40, if you didn't know, is the max effective jump. Anything over that is you don't see any return for that. So Intimidate and Spellcraft are going to be the 2 big ones. 1 point in UMD. We're going to have enough Charisma as our sort of second stat, I think, by the time we get to the cap, to do whatever we need to do. Concentration, I would like some points in there to be able to scroll cast uninterrupted, like maybe Greater Resto, something like that. And I think that might be it. Maybe a couple of points in heal, if we've got any left over for the positive, to help the positive spell power a bit. But the main 2, Spellcraft and Intimidate, that's what we're focusing on to start with. So you don't really need too many skill points, at least not the way I'm going about it. Stats we've done. So yes, the Pact was governed, the pack choice, the cold, was governed by the choice of this winter ring. I've tried to squeeze in 3 different set bonuses on the gear at the cap, and I think I was reasonably successful in doing so. I won't dwell on it, because I want to show you that my aim with this, because we've already seen a Warlock leveling, so I won't dwell too much on all the leveling stuff, but my aim is to get to the cap and maybe see if I can try him in a few raids, like lower difficulty, but see if he can manage to survive and help there. That would be nice. The second thing, going back to a comment you made, Doc, about the tanky cleric we showed from Nasleller on the channel, and the difficulties in leveling that. A lot of tanks have to either completely respec when they get to the cap, having leveled as like a 2-handed fighter or whatever, or they would completely struggle and need to be piggybacking off other people. You know, can't do anything alone. So I wanted to try something here that that will be reasonably self-sufficient all the way to the cap, and actually at the cap in the legendary content, if wanted, without respecing any feats or anything like that when we get there. That's my aim. Of course, I'll be respecing trees at the cap, but the feats and that will remain the same. To that end, I've started with quicken, which you would want anyway. Even as an out-and-out tank, you would want to quicken your heals. But maximize, I'm not sure you would take as a tank build, maybe. But for us, it's going to be used to boost up spell power attacks and our Eldritch Blast AoEs, bursts rather. So I suppose if we were an out-and-out tank, we would go toughness instead of that kind of thing. But yeah, that's going to be the theme of the whole thing for this. To try to demonstrate that you can be decently tanky, but still leveling at a decent pace. And then at the cap, I would like to think we can still have enough on the spell power side to at least go through some of the softer legendary quests on Reaper 4. That's the challenge. Because a standard tank would take forever. The standard tank would be a lot better, don't get me wrong, at what they do. The fighters and the paladins of this world, the Warlock is never going to compete with that kind of thing. But I just wanted to show this because it's a build that I quite like, I've quite enjoyed. And as something a bit different, maybe you don't like me, you're not that keen on melee, but you would still like to have something a bit tanky to help friends out, something like that. I'm not planning to swing a weapon at all with this. Just use the spells and the spell-like abilities and see where we can get to, what sort of mischief we can create. Let's have a quick look where we're at with the gear. So just bog standard level 1 and 2 stuff. 1 or 2 nice pieces. The runic trinket is very nice for a beginning caster. You can see a bonus to DCs, bonus to spell power there. Not bad at all. And then just little bits, bonuses to constitution and charisma, perfect for us. Spell sight, a bit more spell power there from the intelligence. Every 2 points in intelligence is 1 more spell power. We've got our master's gift on our goggles there. I noticed recently there was, in one of the Year of the Dragon rewards, there was an option to take a master's gift, and given the work involved in crafting, well, in acquiring the bits for one of those, I think that was quite a nice reward to get for those of you who haven't got one yet. My recommendation would be to put it on as I've done here, on a low level item that you plan to use for a long time. The best example I can think of would be that level 7 Sacrarium Suncatcher from the Dino area with the +2 on the spell DCs. For any caster, I can see that being, something you could wear from 7 all the way to the cap to 30. So that would be a good candidate. My staple robe, invulnerability, so it's a damage reduction against the really early opponents. From a very early point, enemies start having magic weapons, so that becomes irrelevant, but good for the first couple of levels, and anybody who hits us runs away in fear, so that's nice. Little defensive thing here, fortification and a bonus to saves. Nothing really special on there. And for the 2 spell powers that we're interested in at the moment, it's cold, which I've picked up from the Borderlands vendor. So we've got cold spell power and crit chance there, and of course the force on the other side, impulse. I could have had that from the Borderlands, but I just happened to have this Canis crafted one lying around, so I took that. So nothing overly special. We can see our spell powers here on the ones that we're interested in. So the cold and the force, both around 120. Now we can see as well that the cold is notably higher crit chance, and that's because we have our 3 past lives in energy criticals, epic past lives. So we have 9 more chance to crit with cold, which is it makes it an even bigger problem when something is immune to that, because that's where our big hits tend to be coming from, the cold pact damage. Okay, I don't think we're in too bad a shape there. Just a little word, as it's this time of year, there's this festival event on at the moment, and this time around I've taken it upon myself to collect the coins and trade them in. There are various places you can check the wiki. The one I use is in the harbour on top of the Leaky Dinghy Tavern. You can trade the coins in for various rewards, many of which are these cookie type things. I'm going to showcase a couple of them for you today. I've done this once in the past, I think with Naslella we did it. The Storm Reaver one I particularly like as a nasty target deleter, like a Reaper or something. Caster level 17, so at level 1 it should hit pretty hard. And that is the... what is it? It's the primal... one of the primal epic strikes, isn't it? Thunder Snow. I've never been particularly impressed with it at the cap, but at level 1 I'll certainly take it. It does hit in a line, so anything sort of in between the target will get wiped out as well if you get lucky. And I've taken a few of these Wall of Fire cookies as well, if we get a big pack of things, especially things that are immune to our cold damage. Maybe that could help us. Speaking of immune, let's just take a moment to list what I've encountered so far. I mentioned a couple of them in the Borderlands already. The cold mephits and the anything sort of skeleton derived is immune to the cold. So again, go for acid, electric, or sonic if you're just after making sure as few as possible things will resist the pack damage. What else was I going to say about the... No, I think that's about it. Right, let's hoover up our targets here, which I could have been doing as I was talking. How many is left? One left. Where are you hiding? Down there. Okay. Right, happy days. So I was thinking for this one, we could just go round the harbour. The last, I've got these 2 offensive cookies. The last one I've got on the bar is the Greater Vigour. Now it says friend self, unless they have changed it. It's only castable on yourself, I'm afraid. But still, Greater Vigour, caster level 12 from level 1 is not bad at all. If we get into a bit of a scrape, I'll hit that. Otherwise, I'll be going with the standard Cure Serious potions from the guild potion vendor in Kundarak. and just using those in between fights. I've got my two candies from the Halloween event. We'll be using for leveling. We'll be using the Shadow Apple here for 10 festive bonus to spell power. When doing more tanky things at the cap, we have the choice of going for the Caramel Bite 10 festive bonus on PRR. I've got as well my Reveler's Regalia from the same event. If you're wearing robes, which we are at the moment, nice to be able to just swap in and get that tasty bonus to spell crit damage, which lasts for a minute and a half. So as mentioned, just going for leading with the colour spray, hammer everything with the AoEs, sorry, with the AoE blast rather. I've got the colour spray quicken, you can see it's working quite nicely there, but as soon as they get hit, oh, that's another thing I like, the shattering thing, it's quite immersive. It's like throwing snowballs around, so it's even seasonal, with it being winter at the moment here. We don't have too much mana, so I need to be a little bit aware, but it is more or less the only thing I'm doing with the mana. Another thing I can do, look, the 17 temp hit points we've got, the Warlock is the king of the temp hit points, especially the constitution based one. That's coming from this enhancement here, Feigned Health. So we get 66% of our charisma in temp hit points every time we cast a spell on ourselves. So another thing we can do, when those 17 disappear, we can cast shield again for 10 points and have that little buffer again. Where am I going? So this guy needs to die before... Is he the one who lets the dogs out? No, he's not. He's not. That's another one who lets the dogs out, isn't it? So that's working really nicely. So something else past life wise that we have acquired during our time doing the iconics was the 3 cleric lives, which are gonna go... that was a real mess. We got very lucky there, he almost let all that stuff out. So yeah, we got 3 cleric... if I just... oh my god. Why did I even bother? I thought I was opening the door. Okay. I could say I did it to trigger the Reaper bonus, but no. It was just a complete cock-up. So there's a lever I haven't pulled, isn't there? Is it this one here? I'll finish my sentence eventually. Yeah, the 3 cleric lives we acquired will give us +3 on conjuration DCs, which is going to be nice because that is what Web and then later on Evard's Tentacles goes off. And as Charisma is not the stat we will be advancing as we level, we'll need all the help we can get with our on the DC side of things, so that's going to be nice for us. I think there we can see the colour spray working very nicely. Of course, the higher up the Reaper difficulties you go, the higher the opponent's saves are, so just be aware of that if you feel like you're a bit borderline with the spell DCs. Although honestly, especially down at these low levels. There is no reason really, apart from the challenge, to go anything other than Reaper 1.
The scurrying feet of kobolds can be heard
Now,
nearby.
don't people usually
It's likely you will
go
encounter
jumping
several
through
of them
here?
in the
Is
next
this what I remember?
should proceed with caution.
Yeah, that's it. That's one shortcut I've habitually not used over the years. So we even got the boss with it there. So if I had to guess, the first shot when they are dazed will give extra damage, but after that we'll be back to doing normal blast damage. I should mention as well, using that that boost, that purple dragon boost, is actually harmful to my chances of landing the colour spray. If you can see there, my deep gnome past life has been put on a minute's cooldown by using that now. So I'm 3 DCs down on my, you can see I've gone from 24 to a 21 now on the will save for the colour spray. So I really shouldn't be abusing that too much, especially when there's Reapers about. Going for the cookie. Yes! Thunder Snow for the win. Now, typically I've passed my coins and cookies on to another member of the bear party, but this time around I thought I would have a go at collecting some and having a bit of fun in the lower levels. If you, especially if you have access to the gold dice rolls for the big XP stones, you can probably start at level 4 maybe, and you'll have more than enough power anyway. But starting down in these levels, those cookies can really make a nice crutch to lean on until you get decent damaging things of your own. As you can see here, we're very decent with the AoE. It's just the big single targets we are lacking. We'll hit the night horrors thing here. Should we see? No, I'm not going to waste a thing on him. He's not worth it. I might hit this one with the big thing, or maybe I'll just save them for Reapers. I think. Let's not squander our resources. Ah, there is a Reaper there. Have some. Yes, I think it took something else out in the way as well. So there you have it, folks. Thunder Snow. Or what is it? The Storm Reaver cookie. Your one-shot Reaper deleter. Get saving those coins. There are other things as well that could do the same. I think there's a reward that you can get from the giant hold patron in the marketplace. The what's it called? I think it's called Vela, the red dragon cookie, and I think that's a flame pillar, caster level 15. So I think that would make a similar mess of a nasty single target. Anything on the enhancement side we can do? Yep. We can take now. This is a nice one. Extra spell crit damage. Spell pen is nice too because Tentacles has a spell pen check. The the spell that goes with it, in this Tainted Scholar, in these cores, many of the cores have spells with them, so I think the first one gives, is it Featherfall? Yes, at the bottom there you can see Featherfall added to the spell book. This one adds Web, but you can't use it until reaching level 4, because at the moment we can only cast level 1 spells. So we'll be waiting for that. I think the next point we get, we'll put an extra pack dice on, and then we'll really be cooking. A bit of trepidation here because we're coming up to the infamous Butcher's Path quest. And we have the ingredients. We have CC, we have AoE. There's no reason why we shouldn't do alright in here.
Butcher's Path, a gauntlet that has inspired many grim tavern tales.
I think I'll just trigger the big boost to start with, and I think better to use and then run out than not to have used at all. That certainly didn't get them all, did it? Gonna have to be really careful with these shaman because I do not have good electric resistance, like not at all. I think they're all about 7 only. 5 from the ship buff and 2 from a range of past life. We're having good results with the blinding, so that's still promising. Nice way to reduce the... see, this is a good example here. So these ooze completely immune, you see, to the cold. So it would take me forever to chip that thing down. I think I'm tempted to just leave it in there. The only downside to that is it does count towards your quota of creatures that you need to kill, and we need to kill a lot to be successful in this quest, so hopefully I don't fail by 1. Now we can see quite a lot of saves, but it's still well worth having. And I think we should there's quite a nice boost to spell DCs, isn't there, when we equip the Fey gear at 5. I could be using some salt marshy stuff now, but and that wasn't too bad, was it? I'm not wearing any salt marsh gear. There is a neck piece from the salt marsh, I think, to deal with cold spell power and crit. But as we already have that on a scepter, I didn't bother with it. I do have the heroic version of the Fey ring I mentioned, the Ring of Winter's Chill, so we'll definitely be showing that from level 5.
Scratch and scurry somewhere very close by.
Don't get shot by the electric stuff. And there is a Reaper at the back of there. Oh, this would be a good chance now. Come on. Oh, yes! Gotta love that. You did get us with a couple of stacks of fear, but it was worth it. Yes, beautiful. So that was a nice example. That Thunder Snow can go through the targets like, well, like you would with improved precise shot with a bow, or like you would with the, is it Sun Bolt from the Favoured Soul? Does that? I think that goes through multiple targets as well. Just a bit tricky to line up, but these pipes are perfect for that kind of thing. They do the job for you. Oh, another candidate there. Can we target him? Can we please target him? Thank you. 100% success rate so far with that. Beautiful. I am loving it. That's the one glaring weakness we have at the moment. Well, I suppose you could say that about many casters, couldn't you? The single target damage, especially early on. Another Reaper. Thank you. Please call again. Let's try not to be too exposed to that shaman. I noticed somebody's taken a chunk out of us. Okay. How many more? 12 left. We're not doing so bad. I mentioned past lives. So yes, with the Iconics I took the chance to get... I think I mentioned when doing the... Was it the Cleric series? We were doing a Paladin past life, weren't we? So he's got some more healing amp than he did the first time he tried the tank Warlock. Which is going to be nice. Oh yes. Somebody took it. Was that the ooze that hit us for a big crit? Wow. I don't care how long it takes, you're going to die for that. Right, how many left? 3 left. I suppose having piles of Reapers all over the place does help, because I'm guessing they help towards the total. Oh, I've run out of buffs. Yeah, I think we've got enough over there. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So a bit disappointed I wasn't making more use of the shield spell to buff our hit points, because they're finding it quite hard to hit us because we have a decent AC for this low level. I've prioritised martial past lives to achieve that. So it's most noticeable, I think, when you drop down to the really lower levels and things start missing you all the time, instead of if you had an AC in the teens, they'd be hammering us when we stand toe to toe with us.
You have walked the butcher's path and lived. No easy feat, even for the bravest of warriors.
Whenever confronted by a single target like that, an end boss or something, you could and should switch to the single target Eldritch Blast to do away with the 1 die penalty for having the chain thing active. Or I think it's a die penalty for any form, like the cone in Soul Eater Tree suffers the same. But I couldn't be bothered. Still on the lookout for any nice Vorpal things down here. They seem to be as rare as ever. I think one of you mentioned you found a Vorpal and Keen on the same item back in the day. That's quite a find, especially if it's a low level item.
The tower, then motions you closer to speak. The air is chilly and damp. Despite this, the books seem bone dry.
Seems almost alien after a time as an Inquisitive to just ignore the trap notifications and wander off and leave it.
The librarian scans the shelves, muttering to himself. Best wait for him to leave before trying to steal Dulsamara's books.
Yeah, I think another nice thing about starting at 4 if you're a VIP and you've got those gold rolls, you immediately get access to your Reaper points, don't you? Which will be a big boost in survivability. Oh, way up. And we're going to see an example here. I think there's some skeletons here, aren't there? So yes, we're going to see an example of our struggles here. So only the force is hitting there. But I think also there are some zombie types a bit later on, so we'll see that we can be just fine against those with the cold. I think it's right, left, left in here. Oh, don't lag now. Another skeleton. Hooray. I could have used the Thunder Snow Cookie against him, but I didn't deem the situation to be sufficiently of an emergency to warrant it. That's another thing we've picked up that I think you've seen already from iconic past lives. The Eladrin Chaos Mancer. You can get up to 3 of these little wings, I guess I'll call them, per life. Very nice to have. So yes, zombies we can do just fine with the cold. So happy days. That's something I didn't really know. I just figured that most undead were immune or heavily resistant. So I'm been reasonably surprised so far. I haven't had to... In fact, there's only one. There was one quest. The... what's the biggest one in the Borderlands? Is it the Temple of Chaos or something? An element of chaos? Total Chaos, isn't it? That's it. The boss at the end is guarded by a load of skeleton types, and I was really struggling against them. So I killed the boss, took the quest completion, and just got out of there, hid from the skeletons, and exited stage left. Not exactly heroic, but it got the job done. Sticking to the right here keeps you away from the traps if you can't disable them. Be zombies, please be zombies. I think they are. Yes.
You have found
Happy
what you
days.
came for. It is time to leave this vile place.
Of course, colour spray can't do a lot against the undead. You can blind them still and silence them if caster, but you can't get that daze, that stop that you can against the normal stuff. There's a number of things like that you learn as you go along, like the nasty little scorpion things in this one. Same deal. You can't stun them and stop them. In fact, here, as mentioned previously, unless we get a Reaper, we won't get any Reaper XP. So it'll be a... I still would prefer not to get one, but if we do get one, at least it'll earn us something.
A skittering sound beneath the floor sets your nerves on edge.
We'll try and hold the door here if we can. I think there's a bit... Is there a bit of lag? Lag's not showing any sign of improving lately, sadly. I was trying to join a raid group the other night. You know, quite looking forward because they posted they were going to do some nice things. And we never even got into the first one. Never even tried. In the public area in the middle of the marketplace, everything just froze and we gave up. So that was a bit sad.
Spasm. The last scorpion collapses.
I do hope it's not going to get to the stage where so many get driven away by the lag, because plenty of those I play with and have played with are already in that situation. I've played, I guess, less than I had in the past, down to it. I think a lot of us just get to we have a tolerance threshold, don't we? And you know, if it starts really acting up, you just think, oh well, let's just leave it for another time. Have I got the right things ticked here? Quest rewards based on class. No, yeah, that's what I want. I want to be able to get some useful Vorpal things if they happen to drop. So yeah, we might as well show you this festival character while we're here. There he is, just on the top of the tavern. Click on him, open up a barter window and trade in your coins for tasty treats. Do you know, I went in there and didn't collect the quest. What a muppet. I think the Thunder Snow cookie is doing a rather good job of masking the fact, masking our biggest weakness, the single target damage against the Reapers, without which we would have had 1 or 2 Reapers in our face already, and it might not have ended too well.
Across the room, you see an iron defender. The beast looks fierce. Approaching the creature may cause it to leap to action. Descending into the basement, you hear another sound of whirring gears and a guttural growl.
The artifact could have asked the island's representative where it would be. Some clever searching may reveal its whereabouts.
Ugh, ooze, can I just leave that? I'm gonna try to. Yes, ooze, from experiences leveling the caster druid, we know that they're immune to cold and fire, aren't they? The little beggars. I think there's 2 ooze coming down the corridor there. Let's get the hell out of here. Hopefully we can give them the slip.
You notice that the smuggler is struggling to keep his grip on an awkward container. He must have the artifact you're after.
Oh, Mr. Reaper there. Yeah, because I obviously can't quicken the Thunder Snow cookie. It is rather laborious, as you saw there, to wind up. So we can sometimes have targeting issues. That's why it's preferable to target from a fair ways away. As we did on that awesome shot down the tunnel there. I think I'm going to be living off that for a while.
It sounds like something heavy is being ratcheted into place. You You hear the rasp of stone against stone from somewhere above, as if a massive barrier is moving aside.
I think if we ration them a little bit, these cookies, they might come in for... It's only really in the first handful of levels, I think, that I can see them being really useful. Like for this kind of situation, I mean, just oh my god. Yes!
But the crumpled metal beast. You lift the case and slide it onto your back. Quickly return to the Fairlane representative.
There is supposed to be a... In the description of Thunder Snow, it talks about cold damage to either side of the lightning shot. But I think you need to be at almost point blank. Well, we kind of were there, weren't we? I'm wondering if any of those were hit by the cold. But I've only ever seen the lightning bolt effect. Nope. Yep. Yeah, I think if we were going to have real trouble, it would be in the Butcher's Path. That's quite a test for a low-level character.
You wish all these bones were a little cleaner. The air reeks of rotting meat.
Oh god, there's some ooze in here as well, aren't there? I might just try and do the same as we did in the last one. I wish I had some source of invis. Just gonna try and leave the ooze. I hope I don't create a dungeon alert in so doing.
The floors, walls, and ceiling.
I mean, I've got this AoE fire cookie, but that's gonna be no use against the ooze that are immune to both fire and cold. Actually, these lesser ooze, we are chunking them away, aren't we? It's the bigger one, the standard ooze, that's causing the real trouble. I could be there for hours trying to chip that thing down.
This room stinks a little less than the rest of this foul place. This probably marks it as the lair of a prince among kobolds. The second of the kobold chief has been slain.
Go on, let's finish the beggar off. That's one really nice thing about the chain blast. It hits things round corners, even things you don't know are there. Or things behind you. The coins, by the way, seem to be only dropping in the Eberron related quests. So if you go and do like I don't know, the Underdark chains in Evening, or anything in Evening Star or that kind of thing, don't expect to find coins in there, in those. At least that's the way it seems to have been for me. Well, the zoo's coming. I'm out of here. Oh, thinks he's clever and it's avoided the trap, but clearly didn't. I did remember to recast shield. You can see there the 17 temp hit points are back.
The first of the kobold chieftain brothers has been slain.
Can I possibly hide from those two? No, we're going to have to kill them, aren't we? There is actually a teleport cookie as well, which I could have used to get out of this kind of a situation. Yeah, the damage there is pathetic, isn't it? When we're not able to have our cold as well. For those of you who didn't know, as you level up in Warlock, more dice are added to both your base blast damage, in our case the force side of things, and also the pact. So we end up with, just make sure I don't get this wrong, we end up with 6d8 blast damage at level 20 and 10d6 pact damage. Don't ask me why the dice are different, that's just how it is. So for every even level we get an extra pact dice. Okay. I think we've got this one, and then there's the infamous level 4 quest, isn't there? I still wish they would have I mean, great that they made, because I think that was a solo quest initially, wasn't it? That Bandit's Hideout one. Well, we're going to do it in a minute, so we're going to see which one it is. I think it was a solo initially, so great that they made it doable on the normal play, but I wish they'd have left it level appropriate.
At the end of the tunnel, you see a makeshift gong and a lone kobold.
Yeah, so the lesser ones we can take. It's the normal things we struggle with. Always hoping for Eberron shards from those collectible nodes. If we can get the medium ones, we can craft a really nice XP potion out of that. Which for the iconic lives, I was using the potions I'd crafted from those shards for the 20% boost, which was nice. This time around I'm not.
A soft sound, like that of a snoring animal.
I tell you what I might do around level 4. I won't video it because it will be too soon, but I might try for the first time the new Light Brigade quests. I haven't even got them unlocked yet. I might have a little go. I think they're in Wayloon, aren't they? Again, that seems a bit strange. Level 4 quests in Wayloon seems out of whack with everything else that's around that area. Don't hurt us. Any coins? Yes. Happy days. Is that a Reaper down there? No, a sentry. Oh crud, I messed that up, didn't I? Come on then if you're coming. Messed that up too. Come on. Big group like that, I could perhaps have dropped the firewall cookie, or maybe here. Let's try that. It's a lower caster level, that one, than I think it's a level 10 against a 17 for the Thunder Snow. That's okay.
Metal grinds on metal, and ripples spread across the water.
It's just nice to have things that you wouldn't natively get. Now there is, I haven't brought them this time because it would be total overkill with us having the normal colour spray, but there's a greater colour spray cookie as well, so you could definitely
Metal grinds
subdue
on metal,
big packs
and ripples spread
of
across
things
the
on the
water.
lower levels with that, and then reap the rewards of
Two
having
signal crystals are placed
monster
above the metal
CC at
gate.
low levels.
You leave the festering sewer
Thinking
water,
of saving
only to
those
be
for the
assailed
next
by
time I do a
frightful new
non-caster build. It's an interesting point actually, this point about the CC. It's getting to the stage now where the traditional lines are so blurred that melees themselves have very decent CC. I mean, particularly anything with Dragon Lord in it. So they're not needing
pack that has been unceremoniously
the
discarded
traditional,
beside
or
the
at least not as much, the traditional caster type builds that would go along to help with that. I still think, from what I've seen of the higher level groups, a good bard particularly still has its place in there. The disco balls and the mass holds. Right, so yes, I saved the worst for last. I think it's here, this quest that used to be a solo one and is now the group thing. So I'm expecting a nasty shift up in difficulty here. I think this is a 4 base, isn't it? So is this 6 now? Yeah. Not good. I still don't quite understand why. I would definitely have made this you know, in keeping with the stuff around it. So we're going to put as much range as possible. We're going to remember we do have the thunder snow if things get really hairy. Yeah, they're taking a lot more killing, a lot more, aren't they? So the blinding is going to be important to keep them. Oh, they saved from 2, but he did get blinded. So that, yeah, you can see there he probably would have hit us if not blind. Oh, Soul of Ice. So oh god, the ice part, the snow part of our pack there would have done a lot less on the back of that. Oh, hello. Stone Guard. We're getting all the good ones here, aren't we? It's doing very nicely for us, the colour spray. I'm quite pleased with that. Just keeping them back just enough to give us a bit of breathing room. You can see there's plenty of saves going on, but it's hitting enough. Of course, the level of this quest is too higher, so we are going to be struggling a bit with the saves, more than normal. I'm noticing there's a quota there and we haven't met the quota. Oh, I think we're going to meet the quota here. Yeah, more than.
With the thieves gone, Filber's goods are safe and secure once more.
You see that one there, blinded, just wandering around, basically not doing a lot. So it's a huge advantage if we can get that to land.
The thief laughs as you approach.
Can we explode those barrels around him? Or just explode the lag? I should be swapping, I'll show you there. We've got the single target blast now for a bit more damage. There we go. So all in all, not too bad. I think if we'd have had to close with any of those for whatever reason, that would have ended very differently. So yeah, just as we saw in the Purple in Peril, starting out in the very early levels, midway through level 2, I think you can get the chain. Am I right in saying that? I think so, or maybe towards the, but certainly early into 3. If you just invest in the Tainted Scholar Tree, pick up the chain, and then, especially if you've got the colour spray working too, it seems like it's like a really good backbone for a decent start. I mean, we haven't had to do too much on the healing side, because not too much has got near us, has it? So that's been great. Okay. I hope to carry on in the same vein, and we will reconvene maybe somewhere in between now and 12. Come on, 3 minus 12, 9. Maybe somewhere around 8. 8 sounds like 7 or 8. I think we'll take it to. And see how we're going on then. 12 is obviously a big deal, because until 12 I would recommend, even if you're going for the tanky build, I would recommend you split your points between Soul Eater and Tainted Scholar and just do the blasty stuff that we've been doing here until 12. When 12 comes along and you get access to these tier 5s in the spirit tree, you can have 2 bursts, AoE bursts, and also the very compelling Shining Through, which gives you temporary hit points to use and abuse. So that's the point at which, unless you make a mistake or you really push the difficulty level too high, you become almost unkillable. So I look forward to sharing that with you all. We'll put another pack dice on here, as I said I would, and happy days. Thank you very much as always for looking, and I will speak to you next time. Take care.